Okay, there we go. That should be better now. Sorry about that. Now I need to see how to bring my comments up again. Okay, there we go. That should be better. Is that better, everybody? It should be. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to be loud. It was supposed to just be background music, but that didn't go very well. So sorry about that. Okay, so let me start over. Welcome to Makeover Monday Watch Me Viz week 41. For those of you that are new here, my name is Andy Kriebel. I created this channel and my blog vizwiz.com to help you become better at Tableau. The purpose of this session each week is to show you how I approach a brand new data set, analyze it, look for different visualizations, and see what works together before I build my final dashboard. Hopefully you pick up a few things along the way, and if you do, please invite somebody next time and maybe they can learn from it as well. Also, don't forget to click on subscribe. I'm putting out lots of content each week, 4 to 5 videos a week. I am now doing an interview for my new podcast once a week. That's called the Dual Access Podcast. Those are typically on Wednesdays, and you can also find those on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. And also a tip video each week, these sessions, and then once a week Eva runs a Viz review session where she looks at Makeover Monday visualizations and critiques them and offers feedback. There will not be one of those this week, however, she is going to be away for work. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's look at the data set itself. Actually, let me start with the original visuals. So the original article I see came from the BBC, and what struck me here was this Global Human Development Index, which is really just it's just a measurement for kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say life expectancy, but it's a combination of metrics that come up to this one thing. So here it is. It's a summary measure of average achievement in key dimensions on human development: long, healthy life, being knowledgeable, and having a decent standard of living. So it assesses life expectancy at birth, education, and gross national income per capita. So this is the original visualization, and it just has the Human Development Index by year for each country. And we could see super cool interactivity, really nice tooltips. This is looking at just the index. So maybe one of the things I do like here is that if you go off of the chart, you can see the world as kind of a baseline there. So you can see how everything compares. So as I go through, I can see the values when I hover. I can see the stats in the tooltip. Really nicely designed tooltips. That might be fun to try to build. I actually really like this visualization. They have it in these kind of bands as well. Let's see if these act as filters. They don't. Okay, so we've got kind of 10 colors. So I'm assuming something like 0.5 is. I'm not quite sure how they determine. Oh, it looks like the world is what determines whether something is green or blue or red, something like that. So if we filter down to a single region, let's pick one that doesn't have too many countries. Maybe South Asia doesn't have very many. So we can still see the world average, and then we can see the other countries. It highlights it really nice. So I think actually what I'm going to try to do at first is just rebuild this visualization and see what we can do. The interactivity in Tableau will definitely not be as fast as this, but maybe we can get part of the way there. The data set itself, this is what we have. So we've got the ISO code for the country. Notice when you bring it into Tableau, you get this little ABC option here. So when you do that, we want to actually make that geographic. So I'm going to click on where it says ABC, go down to geographic role, and I'm going to pick country/region. Okay, and now we can use that. We can double click on that field when we're in Tableau, and we should get a map. We have the regions. So let me go ahead and look at the aliases for that. So it looks like we have AS, EAP, etc. Now those are all outlined. They should hopefully be outlined in the metadata, but let's see. But I don't see it. Okay, so I don't see. Yeah, it just says UNDP developing regions. So it's hard to. Yeah, we don't have kind of a key that goes for that. That's okay. We could probably figure it out. And maybe we just won't use that. We've got the gender, and inside of the gender column, I added in male, female, and total. So just be careful of that when you are building your visualization, that you are not combining those by accident. we've got the year, and then we have the 4 key statistics. So the Human Development Index, and then the Human Development Index is made up of these other 3 metrics to the right here. So what do I do here? So if let's see, hold on a second. So what I could do now is, so I've got these 3 metrics over here, and these 3 are the ones that make up the Human Development Index. Okay, so let's go into Tableau, and let's see if we can, first off, I guess maybe we should look to see if there's a country called world. So I'm gonna just scroll down into my country list and see, okay, so we do have one called world. So we should be able to hopefully do something with that as that kind of baseline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I'm going to create a new set, and I'm going to just click on world, and I'm just going to call this my world set. That way it's just easy for me to filter yes or no to the world. So for example, if I bring country into the view, bring in my world set, you'll see I just get world. If I bring it up into the rows, you'll see I just get world. Take that off the filters, and now I can see, actually if I put, let's say, world set on color, we'll get a blue down here. So it's just an easy way for me to filter things. Also, if you have any questions along the way about things I'm doing, please leave them in the chat. I can't see it. That's why I'm looking to the left occasionally. I'm keeping an eye on the chat as well. So I'm going to start by just double clicking on the countries to see if we can get, so we've got 8 unknown countries. So if we look down here on the lower right, we can now see that we have 8 unknown countries. So I'm going to go ahead and click on those and edit the locations. Now we've got a bunch of these that are ZZ, whatever. So these are actually the region totals. So that's good that Tableau picks up on that. DOM, I don't know what that means. So maybe another way we could look at this then is by ISO code and then country. And if we go down to these ones that start with Z, okay, so here we go. So these are our indicators for those, or when we looked at the regions. So for example, if I bring region up here, we could set, maybe we could pull the region out of this somehow or something, but you see how the region's not complete here. So SSA really means Sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, what was I going to look at? Oh, DOM, I was going to look at DOM. So what I'm doing initially is just trying to look at the data and just get a feel for if there's anything missing. Okay, so we got the Dominican Republic here. Okay, so let's go to this, and let's edit the locations, and okay, so it doesn't like country region. So it doesn't like Dominican Republic as a country. Okay. Well, I'm not going to build a map anyway, because I'm just trying to rebuild the original visualization. And the USA is showing up as null, as a null region. Okay, so if I go to USA, yes, so there's no region for the USA. Okay, so that's probably a good reason to not use the region field then. So I want to make sure I don't use the region field. So I'm actually going to right click on the region field on the data pane, and I'm going to hide it. That way I don't use it by accident. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show my, let's see, actually, I want to put year into the columns. And now I'm going to show my gender filter. And I want to filter down to just the totals for now. Because I believe the original visualization is only the total level. It doesn't have, it's not broken down by gender. So we've got a bit more information in ours. Okay, yeah, so the region is defined as developed regions. So yeah, it must be something like that. So let's start with the Human Development Index. And I'm going to maybe just make this an average or maybe a median. I'm going to actually make all of these. aggregations median. Okay, so I'm going to just make all of the medians. And now if I put country onto detail, you'll see I get all of the countries, and I could put my world set onto color. And now I have something kind of similar to the original visualization. So I've got, yeah. So if I don't want to filter to the region, let's just do all regions. And for example, if I look at the top, I should see United States up here. And there we go, something like that. Okay, so what I want to do now, so 669 nulls. Okay, so that's because like some countries don't have data. Let me see if I can somehow click on this one back here. There we go. So this country here, South Sudan, doesn't have data for all of the years. So just something to keep in mind there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a data source filter to get rid of those junk countries that I'm not really worried about. So I'm going to go down to, oh, where'd they go? Where'd the ZZZ ones go? Okay, let me add ISO 3. There we go. So I'm going to just get rid of these fields. I know these aren't countries I want to work with, so I'm going to exclude those. And now I don't have to worry about filtering them out. They're going to be filtered out by default. Okay, what happened to my world here? I think I just deleted the world. It's pretty hard to delete the world, but I managed to do it. Okay, let me go down here. It must be, okay, so I just unchecked the wrong one. Okay, there we go. All right, so the lines are a bit thinner on the original, so I'm just gonna make them a bit thinner like that. And now it looks like it's kind of hard to tell like where the color goes. So for example, this one here, it looks like it probably starts in that red zone. So that's why, okay, so we need to look at the starting value, it looks like, in order to determine which color it falls into. Okay, that's fine. So we want to look at the first value for each country. So I'm just going to go here again. All right, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to bring year into the columns, and I'm going to make it discrete. So what I'm trying to do now is, let's just put Human Development Index on there. I want to get the first year for each, Peter, I don't think they're based on interquartile range because they look like they just go every 0.8, or sorry, yeah, they just go every 0.8. So I don't think it has anything to do with that. The shading in the background looks like it might be that. Okay, so I just want to get the first value for each country. So let's call this first HDI per country. Okay, so I want to say something like if year, let's see, I want it fixed on country, colon, and I know I need to aggregate that, so I'll come back to that. So if year equals min, let's see, actually, let me do it this way. For each country, I'm going to first get the min year. Let's start this way. Okay, so that's going to give me the first year per country. And then I'm going to say if year equals that, then I want to bring back the Human Development Index. Okay, let's see if this works. And let's drag that onto the table. And now you'll see we get just one value for the entire view. But I want this to fill in across the view. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to wrap the whole thing in another LOD. So fixed at the country level. And then I just wanted to, it doesn't really matter how I aggregate this, but I'll do median just to be consistent. Okay, so if you look at Afghanistan across the top here in this first row, it says 0.79. This calculation here is going to make that 0.79 go all the way across the view. The reason I want to do that is because I might want to see how it's changed in 2021 versus the first year of 1990. And that field needs to be populated, that value needs to be in this cell here that I'm hovering over in order to make that comparison. So click on apply, and now you see that goes all the way across. So now I can compare 2021 to 1990. Okay, so that's working correct. And so we want to create basically some bins more or less. So let's see if that works. So first, so I want to create bins, and my bins are going to be, what is it? 0.08. Okay, so can I, but the problem here is it does the min and the max. Let's just see what this does here. And I'm going to drag that onto color. But it looks like, does it go 0.24? Okay, so the scale's off a bit here because we want it to be 0.2, 0.28. Okay. All right, I'm going to come back to that later and try to figure out the colors later because that's going to be a bit more complicated. Okay, so we've got that. When I hover over, you can see it kind of does something like this. But in theirs, when you hover over, it highlights the whole line. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to do that with an action. So I'm going to create a new set on the country field. So let's create a set. And I'm going to call this my country set. And for now, I'll just click on Afghanistan. And what I could do here is, actually, I think what I'll do, I'm actually going to do it as a parameter action. That way I can reset the country to world at the end. So let's create a new parameter, and let's call this our country parameter. And I'm going to make it a string. And for now, I'll just default it to the world. Okay, so I'm going to show that parameter. I like showing the parameter to make sure as I set up the action that it's actually working. So I'm going to now create a worksheet action. And I'm going to add a change parameter action. All right, I'm going to call this update country parameter. Okay, I want to do it on hover. So if you notice on theirs, I can do it either on click on or hover. So Tableau works the same way. I can either do it on click or hover. The target parameter is country parameter. The field is country. And when they clear the section, the selection, I want to reset it to world. Okay, so now as I hover, oh, I need to put this on color now. Where did my set go? Country color for parameter. So I'm going to say country equals country parameter. So I'm creating a Boolean now. And if I put that on color, I want to move the true in front of the false. And now when I hover over, we should see the color change. Look how less responsive Tableau is than that website. Okay, but you can see that in my country parameter here on the right-hand side, you can see the name changing as I go across. Okay, and then when I move off of it, it resets to world. Okay, so that's working pretty well. What I'm going to do for now is I'm going to just use maybe, I'm just going to use like maybe a really bright color. Let's pick something bright here. Let's see. Let's do, oh, we have some bright ones up here, don't we? Jewel bright. Okay, so I'm going to make the trues maybe red, and then I'm going to make the falses like light gray. I just want it to really stick out. Okay, there we go. So now we can see it a lot better. When we hover over, we can see that changes. Okay, great. Now, one of the things theirs does is it shows the value when you hover, which is good. So does ours. Oh, no, it doesn't. Sorry. So what I want to do is I need to set up a calculation to return the value when I click on it. Okay, so, okay. All right, I'm going to say country label first year. Right, so I'm going to say if year equals min, I'll explain what I'm doing here in a second. Okay, so let me put this onto the label shelf. So what I've done is I've just said only label the first year. I want to make this an attribute so it doesn't split up the view. And on my label shelf, I want to label show mark labels, and I'm going to put my country onto the label. But I only want to show it for the country that's selected. Okay, so that's the wrong one. Okay, so I'm going to say if that, so let's say, so I'm going to say and country for a parameter. Okay, so now it just shows world. Hover over this one, and it's not working. Fantastic. Highlighted. Let's try that. Well, doesn't that work wonderfully? What's going on here? Why is it not even? Yeah, see, it should be showing the label now. Okay. Let me try it this way. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, thanks, Peter. Not enough room for the label. So, yes. So, but what up here? Okay, there it goes. All right, so now it's working a bit better. All right, so we've got that kind of thing solved now. I wonder if I label this and I make it right aligned. Let's see what that does. Okay, that's better. So now it's putting it on the right-hand side. And I'm going to actually label the top as well. I'm going to put it above the line so when we hover, we can still see the value. Okay, so that's good. So now I move off and we see the value for world. Do you mind explaining what setting it as an attribute means? Yeah, so Tamika, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce your name. Sorry if I got that wrong. If I don't make this an attribute, if I make it a dimension like it was, notice how my view is split up now. So my red line is split up. That's because we have two values for the attribute. We either have true or false. If I make it an attribute, it's like aggregating it, and it only returns a value if there's only one value. So for example, let me see if I can explain it a slightly different way. Let's put, I'm just going to put maybe gender on here. And if I do the attribute of country, so let me bring country onto here. And now if I make this an attribute, you'll see they all become stars. What that star means is it's a warning telling you that there's more than one value in that field. So female, there's more than one country that has female. If I bring up, let's say, how about where's my set? My world set. Let me try that. Notice I get a value for world, but I get a star for everything else. I get a value for world because there's only one value in that set. So hopefully that explains it. So it's basically a warning. It says if it returns a star, it just means you have more than one value. And I do have a video on that on my YouTube channel as well. If you search for, I think if you just search for attribute, you should find it. Okay, so we've got something like that. It also looks like they get a bit fatter as you hover over them. So I'm going to duplicate my color field onto the size. And of course it switches it around. So I'm going to just reverse the order. Oh, don't want to do that. So let's double click on this. I'm going to make my larger mark slightly larger, and I'm going to reverse the colors. And there we go. Okay, so now when we hover over, that one becomes fatter as well. Now this one, the label's not showing up. Where's that? So country label first. Okay, so I did something wrong here. I need to do the same thing I did before. Fixed on country. Okay, so now let me find one of the countries. Here we go. There we go. So now it's working. So what was happening there is it was only going to ever return the label if I was on 1990. Yeah, Lucas, thank you. Oh, it's probably not going to let you paste a link into the chat. So let me see if I can do it for you. Actually, I'll just do it this way. Easier. Sorry, I need to sign in. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what the heck happened there. So I'm just going to paste it in there. Okay, there you go. That was weird. Okay, so hopefully that fixes it for you. Since I have the start end of line, would I still need the year check? That's a good question. Yeah, so I probably, that's a good point. So if let me take the country off and put country on label. And now if I just do, well, it probably would work, but I only want to show the label for, okay, so let me try this. So if I do, so let me just try this. So if I say if, then country. Okay. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, thank you for that. Whoever just left that comment in there about that, since Lucas, yeah, since I changed the label option to start end of line, I actually don't need to write that complicated calculation. So yeah, thank you for helping me simplify that. Okay, so I'm going to hide this null as well down here. Okay, and their axis starts at 0.2 and goes to 1, so I'm going to edit my axis, and I'm going to just uncheck include 0 so it spreads it out. Actually, I probably should. Okay, so I'm going to fix it at maybe 0.15. No, maybe 0.19. And then go to 1.01. Okay, there we go. And then on my tick marks, I'm going to fix them. I want my origin to be 0.2. And then we want it to go every 0.08. There we go. I think that matches what they have now, right? 0.2, 0.28. Okay. And then the Human Development Index, the default number format for that should be a number custom 3 decimals. Okay. Great. Okay. I don't need this in my tooltip. I don't need this in my tooltip. I don't need this in my tooltip. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we've got the color. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just go ahead and maybe try to recreate what they have in their tooltip. So maybe I'll try that. So it looks like as you hover over the tooltip, the first value becomes, okay. So we could probably change from 2018, so that's year-over-year change. Okay, maybe now the best part, I like calculations. Okay, so I'm gonna try to just build this as a table. Let's see what happens here. So let me get rid of that. And I'm going to just pick a single country for now just to try to get it working. All right, so we've got the country. So we can get the 1998 value. All right, so how do we want to do this? Life expectancy at birth. Okay. So this should be default properties, number format. This should be to 1 decimal. And then the next one is expected years of schooling. And then what's the third one? Mean years of schooling. Okay, so let's just drop that on top of the numbers so I get show me. Put that here. Oops. Okay, so life expectancy of birth, expected years of schooling, mean years of schooling. Okay, so we can make this a bit wider. And then gross national income per capita. Okay, now I'm going to format each of these. So let's format, and in the pane, I'm going to make it that, and then in the suffix, I'm going to put years. Okay, and then let's do the same thing for this one. And then the last one should be, what does it say? And then it says constant 2017 PPP $. All right. Okay. The problem now is the years is, okay. All right. So we've got that. Okay, so let's format this view a bit. So I'm going to increase my row dividers. I'm going to get rid of my shading. Okay, and it looks like these are all in bold. So let's format. Bold, and then these are not in bold. So measure names is Tableau. Let's see, book. Okay. All right, so that's that. These first two things, the 1999 HDI value and the year-over-year, and the change from 1998. So that's kind of the year-over-year change. I'm going to do those directly in the tooltip itself from the view. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, I want to know what font they're using as well. So let's inspect the page. Okay. So they're using Proxima Nova. So let's see if I have that as a font on my computer. So format, workbook, Proxima. Okay, I don't have Proxima Nova. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Fonts dot. Okay. Okay, let me go here. Blah, blah, blah. Maximus Sans, I doubt we have that. This is going to be very boring for you to watch right now. Fresh start. Hubhead. Pulse. MRIYA. These all look like kind of custom fonts. How about Grotesca? I think I have that one installed. No, I don't. Okay, maybe we'll just try, I don't know, I'll just try something. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Is that close? Yeah, that's not too far off. I'll just go with that for now. I can always change it later. Okay. Oh, expected years of schooling. So let's format. This should only be 1 decimal. And then this one should be 1 decimal. And then gross national income should have no decimals. Okay, so this is our tooltip. I'm going to now just remove the country from here. And if I go to my sheet and I go to my tooltip, okay, let me cancel that. So this, we do not want that in the tooltip. We don't, okay, so what's my tooltip look like now? So I've got the year, the human development index, okay. Okay, oops. So we can say, what does it look like again? So we've got the country. Okay, so that'll be first line. Now it's going to be hard to get these vertical lines going across. So maybe I'll just do a bunch of dashes. Something like that, good enough. 1995 HDI value. Oh my God, terrible spelling. Okay, and then we need the change from 1998. Okay, so we're going to need to put in here HDI change from, okay, and now I need to get the prior year value. So I'm going to use a lookup function for that. So prior year. So I want to look up the min year -1. I think this should work. So let's make that discrete. Okay. That's fine. So let me okay, great. So that worked. Okay, so default properties, number format, number custom, no comma. Okay, so now when I hover over, I can see the current value, and then I need to, so now I need to get the prior year value, and okay. So this is again where building it as a sheet will help. So let me bring out, okay. Okay, so let's get this prior year value. And we want to do, no, I just want to do a year-over-year change. So let's add a table calc. So it's just a difference from, right? Okay, difference from table across relative to previous. Okay, so that's good. So let's save that. Change versus prior. Default properties, number format. And in theirs, they have either a plus or a minus in there. So I'm going to go custom 3 decimals, custom, and I want to put a plus here. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let's look at our tooltip. And we need to bring change versus prior onto, oh no, wrong sheet. Onto here, change versus prior onto detail. And it should retain our table calc. Okay, that's good. And then in my tooltip, I want to put that, and then let's insert change versus prior. Okay. Oh, there's no previous value for that one. Okay, so that looks okay. Yeah, the problem now is it's not, the alignment isn't very good. All right, and then I'm going to go into my tooltip again. And now I'm going to insert my sheet, my tooltip sheet. And let's hit OK. And what does that look like now? The view is too large to show. Okay, so I need to make it wider. Let's maybe make it 600 as the max width. Come on, tooltip. That's so slow. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's not too far off. What does the pound sign mean? That's just like a placeholder for the number parth. So if I go back into here, default properties, number format, this is just saying this is my, so let me zoom in here. So this one is my thousands, and then that means it can be any number, basically. Okay, so I think we can be okay with that. Let me go in here again. I'm going to, maybe let's grab like half of this. This font is terrible. Okay, that looks pretty good. I needed to change this font. It's really annoying me. So let's use, what shall we use? I don't know what Keys of Pro is. I've never used that one before. Now, most of these aren't going to work on Tableau Public, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about that. I don't like that one. That's too boring. There's a few favorites of mine, if I can find them here. Okay, Montserrat is a favorite of mine. Okay, I like that one. We're going to go with Montserrat. So I need to remove about 10 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Okay, I think that's pretty good. But now my gross income per capita is cut off, so I need to make this a bit bigger. All right, and now I need to add in a few of these marks again. Sorry, I know this is probably not the most fun thing to watch. I just like it to look right. Come on. Okay, oh, look at that, almost perfect. Okay, so let me go in here again. I'm gonna put in another tab. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna go with that. Okay, the color based on positive or negative and maybe no change. So you need 3 calcs. Yeah, so in theirs, we could see that a positive change is in green, and then a negative change here. Let me find one of these. Let me try this here. There we go. A negative change is in red. So if I wanted to do something like that, what I would do is I'm going to edit this one, and I'm just going to call this one change versus prior plus. So what I would do here, so I'm going to say something like if that whole thing is greater than 0, then I'll just return the value again, end. So now if we look at one that drops, there we go. So we could see oh, it's so annoying. It's so difficult to find. Okay, there we go. Come on, tooltip. There we go. So we don't see anything in the HDI change from 2011. That's because it's a negative change. So now I'm going to duplicate this and make this a change versus prior or minus. And I'm going to say less than 0. And now if I hover over that one, oh, now I need to put that onto the view. Did I change that? Okay, yeah. I thought I changed the name to it, but I guess not. So I need to put that one in the view as well now. And in my tooltip, I want to just attach that one next to this one. So minus, and the minus is going to be red. And then this one's going to be like green. Come on. Okay, there we go. So now when we hover over, we can see that the change is green. And if I try to find one of these ones that's a decline, we can see it shows up as red. Would it be easier? Would it be easier to do all of them on that one sheet and include that sheet in the tooltip? So I was thinking about that. Yeah, so I think what you're saying here is on this tooltip sheet, so yes, this is filter. I think you're right. So if I put HDI value here and then change, the problem is the getting the value for the change is going to be difficult. So okay, so here we go. Right, so now we can get the 0.756, so that's good, so that works. We don't have the year in there, so we'd have to figure that one out. But then the HDI change from 1991 is a bit more difficult because we would need to, if I look at my tooltip here, we can see that we're passing all fields. What I could do maybe is, I wonder if I could put a second sheet in here. No, because we want to filter by country and year. The problem is what's happening here is when I filter to all fields in this view, it's filtering now to, you know, let's say 1995, something like that. And what's going to happen then is I can't really get the value for 1994 as well. So let me show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this here as discrete. Okay, so when I go to my tooltip, we might be able to figure this out. So we can see the year 1995. Okay, but what's happening now is I see just 1995 in that tooltip. Yeah, because 1995 is being passed to that sheet. So the problem is, how do we get the previous value? So what I could do maybe, so let's maybe try it with the calculated field. Let's say we want to get prior HDI. Okay, so I want to say if year is because I need to get the previous value. Can you create a calculation this year, previous year, and then hide the previous year and keep the differences? That's kind of what I'm getting at. The problem is with that is because it's in a tooltip, when I pass the year, it filters to just that 1 year. So how do I get the previous year? Okay, so let's try something like this. Let's say I want to get, first thing I want to do is I want to get the, okay, let's just see if this works on this one. Okay, and let me put, let me just put that onto, so that just brings back the previous year. Okay. Yeah, the problem, we're trying to do like a lookup function. I'm pretty sure it's possible, but I'm actually not going to spend the time doing it. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, if you're familiar with that phrase. Okay, so I'm going to take year off of this view. Okay. So now I can take, oh no, I don't want it. Yeah, I can do this. So I'm going to move the year up to here. Let's see if this looks any better. Okay, I mean, it's probably as good as it's going to get for now without spending a ton of time on this. So let's just say that this is okay for now. You can create a field that just selects the year and then put that on the filter in the previous table calc. Yeah, I can do that with the table calc, Peter. The problem is in the tooltip, it passes the year to the tooltip, so then the previous years are no longer available to use in a table calc. So that's not really an option. Let me just try something here. So let me just try. We'll just go 1990 to 1991. Okay, so we have that. And okay, so can I prior HDI? Okay, so let's say right, so if I bring this into the view, it's always going to be null, which makes sense because, right, so 1991, so 0.625, no, wait, 0.62. So I want this 0.62 to show up here. Let's see if this works if I take year off the view. Right, so that doesn't work. Okay, but maybe it does. Let's try. If year yeah, I can maybe figure this out another time, but I'm going to keep moving here because we're almost out of time. All right, so we've got this, we've got the really nice, okay, so we also need to put a label on the dot that we click on. Oh, this is why I was doing that before. Let's create a new calculated field. Let's call this label, value label for year selected. So I want to say, all right, let me try. So right now we have line ends, but notice on theirs we get two labels, one at the beginning of the line and then one where they hover over. So that's why I was trying to do the country label the other way before. So let me put this back on here, and then I'm going to label all marks. Allow overlap. Okay, so label. Country color for what's going on here? What did I change here? Okay, so this is just telling me that. Okay, so I need to say if the year is equal to a fixed country. This is what I had before. But why is my label? Oh, I need to change this to be an attribute. Okay, world. So now if I go over, where's one of these countries that doesn't have enough? Here we go, here's one. All right, so the year is not showing up here. So labeling all values. If year is equal to the first year for each country, and it's the country you hover on, then we want the country. Let's see here. If year is equal to, because when this worked before when we did it. So let me just look at one of these here. Okay. What the hell's the matter with this calculation? What would I change about the original? Actually, it wouldn't change much about the original parth. That's why I'm trying to recreate it. So if year, so this is going to give me the first year for each country. And then I want to say, if the year I'm, oh, that's not going to work, that's why. So I want to say, so I want to always label the, okay, let me go back here. I had this working before, but I don't remember what I did now. Yeah, the problem now is if I want to show the value for the one that I hover over, I can't, because I'm using the line ends. So that's what I was trying to get around. Okay. Last thing I want to try is maybe to do this shading. So I'm sure there's some math that we can do to figure that out. So this is our bin, but I don't remember how to force a bin to start a certain place. All right. So it's just, okay. Yeah. What I'm size of bins. Right, so that's not very helpful. Okay, well, let's maybe just deal with what we have. So on our, so I'm going to move this country color for, okay, so we can get rid of that. And then we want to put, no, we want that. But then we want to put the bin onto detail. And then we want to add that to color. Okay, yes, that doesn't work. So let's get rid of this one. Right. Yeah, they kind of have like two colors, one on top of the other. All right, I'm not going to worry about that. I'll just leave it as kind of this highlighted option. Come on. There we go. All right. So yeah, it's been a little over an hour now. I wasn't able to get this exactly the same as the original. Pretty close, but not exactly the same. At some point, maybe I'll try to figure out how to fix that, to do that lookup for the previous, for the change for the previous year, so I can put it all in one tooltip. But I'm not going to really worry about that for now. What else could we do? That's probably about it. All right, so let's throw this into, oh, we could parameterize it as well if we wanted to maybe allow the user to pick something here instead. So maybe if somebody wants to do that, you could allow them to, instead of picking Human Development Index, they could pick maybe life expectancy at birth or something like that. So for example, if I put this on here, then we get something like that for life expectancy at birth. So yeah, I think I might do that, but I'll have to do it when I have time. I have a meeting in a few minutes, so I might keep playing with this for a couple more minutes, and then I'll parameterize this so that I can use any of those 4 values. And what I'll need to do then is I'll need to edit each of these calculations so that instead of always using Human Development Index, it'll use whatever value I pick from the parameter. Same thing for that one. Prior HDI. Did I even use that anywhere? Prior year. Yeah, I don't even think I used that, did I? Delete. Yeah, I didn't use that anywhere. Come on, let's make sure this is working. Right, so now something happened here. I broke something. The undo is very difficult to use when you have, yeah, so now my change is, oh, there we go. Okay, but when I decreased, okay, there it is. All right. Yeah, Michael, I think I would have to use manually create a bin. See, the problem was that one of the things, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I could manually create the bins, but that's a bit of a pain. I was trying to see if I could actually do it with the bins that you can create in Tableau, but apparently not. All right, thank you very much for attending today. Keep an eye out on my blog and Twitter, and I will get my final version posted on there. I'll spend a bit more time on it. Hopefully you learned something today. If you did, please invite somebody along next time. Share the word. I like helping people, and the only way I can do it is if you share it with other people as well. So let's continue to spread the word, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye.